Hello IGCSE students. So in today's math video, we're going to solve the 2019 paper 2 extended October to November 2019. I'm going to try to work through these questions with you. At least for part 1, we're going to go from question 1 to question 16. So let's get to it. All right, so question 1 is telling us to work out 5% of $25. 5% of $25. So every time a question says a percentage by definition is any number over 100. So this 5% in actual fact would be 5 over 100. Always remember a percentage is a number over 100. And every time a question says of is a word of multiplication. So we're trying to solve it a step at a time. So the first thing that we said, a percentage is any number over 100, then the of means multiplication. So we're going to insert a multiplication symbol there. It will be multiplied by $25. So if we simplify that, by the way, we have to make this into a fraction. These two are the numerators, so we're going to say 5 times 25, and that will give us 125 in the numerator. The denominator, because we've made this whole number into a fraction by dividing by 1, it will be 100 multiplied by 1, it will be over 100. And if we divide 125 divided by 100, we're going to get $1.25 as our answer. So our answer here is $1.25. So how did we solve this? We said a percentage is any number that's divided by 100 by definition. That's the first part. Then the second part we've said of is a unit of multiplication. We've got the multiplication side there. Multiplied by $25, we can make any whole number into a fraction by making it a fraction over 1. So this is 25 over 1. We multiply the numerator, 5 by 25, 125. 100 by 1 makes 100, and we work out this fraction to give us 1.25. Why am I explaining this to you guys in this way? It's because not everyone is good at math, and a step-by-step approach is a good thing for someone who is having difficulties with mathematics to really understand the subject. All right, so let's try moving on. Watch this video over and over, guys, so that you can understand these principles. So question 2 is telling us to factorize, but it's telling us to factorize an expression 5p plus pt. So every time when we're factorizing, we're actually looking for two things, but it's a three-step approach sometimes. The first thing that you're supposed to look for is a common factor. A factor being a number that can be divided into any number without leaving a remainder. The second thing you can look for is a common variable. In algebra, a variable is a letter in an algebraic expression, and you have to divide the entire expression by that factor and or the variable you've created. And if all else fails, you have to use the difference of two squares. If we encounter a question which requires us to use the difference of two squares, I'll be able to explain it to you guys, all right? Or if you have any questions, you can comment and email me, and I'll be able to help you. So what we're going to do here is that we are going to factorize. So we have a common variable here. So remember, the common variable is the common letter in the equation. So we get this variable and say, all right, I have p there. Then I'm going to divide this entire expression by that common variable p. So I'm going to divide this expression by p, and that P's, those P's cancel, then the answer will be P, open brackets, 5 plus T as our answer. Remembering that an expression factorized once expanded should give us the original equation. So if I were to expand this expression, I would get 5P plus PT, which is the original expression. So our answer there will be P, close brackets, 5 plus T, close brackets. All right, I hope we're together. Let's try solving the next question, which is a use of a calculator question. So for these, you just have to take your time. So in math, the secret is accuracy and speed. So find an ideal pace that you can use to solve equations accurately, but with efficiency as well. So that is 16.379 minus 0.879 multiplied by 1.241 divided by 4.2, and they're telling us to leave this in two significant figures. So what I would usually do is I would multiply at the end. I would open brackets like this, and I'll say whatever answer I'll get within these brackets, I'll multiply it by 1.241. So we say 16.379 minus 0.879. That will give us 15.5 divided by 4.2. Remember this, we're still operating within the brackets. Divided by 4.2, we're going to get 3.6904. So if you want 5, let's say 5, because I'm rounding it off slightly. If you want to get the best answers possible, I would advise you to leave your calculations to 4 decimal places, multiplied by 1.241. So answer multiplied by 1.241, we're going to get a very big answer of 4.579,880 something, and two significant figures is right there. So the only thing that I have to do is round off, because this digit is 5 and greater than 5. So our answer will be 4.6, correct to two significant figures. And all non-zero digits are significant. So our answer will be 4.6. All right, let's move on to question 4. Question 4, math is fun. You can sing the math song so that just keep yourself in the zone of mathematics. So 50,060, so 15,060 in words, but in standard form. Remember, the standard form is a times 10 to the power n, where n is an integer, meaning it can have both a negative and a positive digit. But the interesting fact is this a here. This a has to be greater than 1, but it has to be less than 10, meaning the solution set of this a goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's the solution set. So if I want to write this digit in standard form, 15,060, for every whole number, the decimal point will be at the end. And if we move the decimal point like that, this number is big. It should be it has to be within this set. If we move it like that, we'll have 150. If we move it like that, we'll have 15, which doesn't satisfy this solution set. But if we move it like that, we'll have 1 there. So it will be 1.5060. We satisfied our first solution set times 10 to the power. How many times did we move the decimal point? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So it will be 1.5060 times 10 to the power 4. So 1.5060 times 10 to the power 4. We together? We're together. I'll make more videos. I'll make an entire math lecture series where I teach you from algebra to the last calculus question, trigonometry things, so that you're going to have a math resource where you can actually understand these topics individually, and a separate math resource where you can practice questions. So to simplify means collect like terms and just collect like terms and simplify. And we're trying to simplify 5c minus d minus 3d minus 2c. So we're just collecting like terms, and please, because we are collecting like terms, the sign of the integers does not change. We are not crossing an equal sign. We are just simply collecting like terms. And what like terms do we have here? The d's are already together, so it will be minus d minus 3d plus 5c minus 2c. I haven't changed anything. So we just have to evaluate this. So here's a trick. Which number is bigger between 1 and 3? It's 3, meaning the answer will be a negative. Negative times negative, it's positive. It means we are adding. So this will be minus 4d plus, then this is just 5c minus 2c to be 3c. So it will be minus 4d plus 3c. If you don't like how this looks like, you can swap the equations a little bit and just say 3c minus 4d. It's still the same thing. So this is 3c minus 4d. I usually see people who get their mark scripts and try to solve things exactly. Math is not like that. You can have the same answer. The answer is still the same. As long as the answer is correct, the answer is correct. All right, so let's solve. So solve for x here. We're just there. Every equation in that form is just telling us to make x the subject of the formula. So we are trying to solve x minus 2, x minus 2, x minus 2. All right, so I do apologize for that small disturbance. So question 6 is telling us to solve for x. So every time you have got an algebraic equation, the rule that you have to follow is the rule for changing the subject. So it's either you're cross multiplying, collecting like terms, and you simplify. So what we're going to do is that we're going to make the right side of the equation into a fraction, because the rule for cross multiplication, you have to have a fraction on the left-hand side and a fraction on the right-hand side for you to cross multiply. You cannot cross multiply if you have such a thing on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side. This doesn't work unless if you make this to a single fraction in its lowest form, then you can cross multiply. However, for us here, it's very easy because we now have a fraction on the left-hand side and a fraction on the right-hand side, so we can cross multiply. So this would be 1 multiplied by x minus 2. It would be x minus 2 equal to 3 times 3 to be 9. We can collect like terms. that crosses over to the equal side. The other side, it becomes x equals to 9 plus 2. That would be 9, 10, 11. So x is equals to 11. There. With 2 marks. Not so bad, huh? It's question 7 here, no? Okay, let's go to question 7. So question 7 is telling us to simplify a question with indices. So it says 2x to the power 3 multiplied by 3x to the power 2. So the beautiful part about indices is that we can, about multiplication is that we can expand it like that, then collect like terms. So 2x to the power 3 to be 2 times x to the power 3 multiplied by 3 times x to the power 2. Then from here we can collect like terms. 2 times 3 times x to the power 3 multiplied by x to the power 2. This will be 6, because it will be 2 multiplied by. So there's a rule of indices which says if you have the same base raised to different powers, what you're supposed to do is add the powers. So it will be a to the power 3 plus 2, which would be a to the power 3, a to the power 5. So here we have the same base raised to different powers. So all we have to do is just add the powers. So it will be 6 times x to the power 3 plus 2, which would be x to the power 5. So 6 times x to the power 5 will give us 6x to the power 5, like so. So our answer here will be 6 x to the power 5. All right, so question 8. I can see that question 8 is some form of fraction, and they want us to just simply solve our working, even if we have a calculator, but they're interested in us seeing our capability of solving fractions. So question 8, we have 15 over 16 multiplied by a whole 1 over 7. So the first thing is that we have to convert this mixed fraction into an improper fraction by multiplying the denominator with the remainder, then we add it with the numerator. So it will be 15 over 16 multiplied by, that would be 7 by 1, 7 plus 1, it will be 8 over 7. We can reduce this fraction by saying 8 into 8 is 1, 8 into 16 is 2, then 15 multiplied by 1 it will be 15, then 2 multiplied by 7 it will be 14. So we can end it as 15 over 14. The examiner is just mostly interested in this part. Does the student know how to convert a mixed fraction into an improper fraction? Does the student know how to simplify, divide, and multiply? So remember, numerator multiplies by numerator, 15 times 1, 15. Denominator multiplies by denominator, 2 by 7, 14. Financial math. So this question here looks like a simple interest question. Paula invests $600 at a rate of R% per year, simple interest, at the end of 10 years. The total interest earned is $90. Find the value of R. So the best way to remember the formula for simple interest is saying simple interest is equals to Peter over 100. Peter over 100. And what you do is just erase the e's. Erase the e's on Peter and put multiplication symbol. It means simple interest is equals to principal times time times rate divided by 100. So Paula invests 100 at a rate of the simple interest at the end of 10 years. The total principal times time times rate. So the interest that she got there, that's the simple interest, was $90. And the principal that she invested was $600 at a rate of 10 years. So time is 10 years multiplied by the rate, the R value that they want us to find, this one, divided by 100. I've put it in a small letter because it's a small letter there. So PTR. So we just have to make R the subject of the formula. So from here, we can simplify this by saying 90 over 1 is equal to 6,000 R over 100. So 600 times 10, 6,000 R over 100. I have a fraction on the left-hand side, the fraction on the right-hand side. I can cross multiply. 6,000 is equal to, what is 90 times 100? That would be 9,000. 9,000. So this is 6,000 R. We divide both sides by 6,000 over 6,000. The 6,000 will cancel. R will be divided by 6,000. R will be 1.5. So that's the rate. That's the rate percentage as 1.5. So R is 1.5. So question 10 will be somehow tricky, but I want us to follow it step by step. And I think part 1 will be question 1 to 10, then part 2 will be question 11 to 2. So I'll solve this paper in terms of tens because I don't want the video to be so long because I've been explaining a lot throughout these questions. And please take my explanation seriously, but follow this calculation one step at a time. So we're trying to simplify x to the power of 3 over 8 raised to the power of negative 4 over 3. So what we're going to do here is, might need more space to solve this question because it's long. Let me just reduce my font. I hope you'll be able to see it because it's a little bit long for 2 marks. So x to the power of 3 over 8 raised to the power of negative 4 over 3. So step 1, we are going to expand. So you raise this, both the denominator and the numerator, to the power minus 4 over 3. So that would be x to the power 3 raised to the power negative 4 over 3, like so. X to the power 3 raised to the power negative 4 over 3 over x to the power negative 4 over 3, like that. Then what we're going to do here is, if you have a power raised to another power, simply, this is n, multiply the powers. So we have a power raised to another power, so it will be 3 multiplied by negative 4 over 3. The 3's will cancel. We're going to have x to the power negative 4 over x to the power negative 4 over 3. Another rule is that if you have a negative power, you can make it a positive power by making it a fraction over 1. So x to the power negative 4 would be 1 over x to the power 4 divided by x to the power negative 4 over 3 would be 1 over x to the power positive 4 over 3. There is another rule that I like to call doctor, because if you have a fractional power like that, follow this rule properly. So the denominator becomes the root. So that's the denominator becomes the root, and the numerator becomes the power. So here, to be 1 over x to the power 4 over 1 over the denominator becomes the root. So I'm going to say the third root of 8 more to the power 4, like so. So the third root of 8 will be 2, because 2 by 2 times 2, it will be 2 times 2, 4 times 2, it will be 8. So that will be 8. So the third root of 8 it will be 2. So we'll have 1 over x to the power 4 over 1 over 2 raised to the power 4. Stay with me, people, stay with me. Just solve these questions slowly. So what we have here is 1 over x to the power 4 over 1 over 2 to the power 4. So 2 to the power 4 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That will be 16. So we're going to have 1 over x to the power 4 divided by 1 over 16. We use the division symbol to be 1 over x to the power 4 divided by 1 over 16. We change it to multiplication. 1 over x to the power 4 multiplied by 16 over 1. The answer will be 1 times 16 will be 16. X to the power 4 multiplied by 1 to be x to the power 4. All right, IGCSE Cambridge students, I hope the part 1 of this video is going to help. Please revise question 1 to 10 as much as possible. I'll try to make a continuation of this lecture video tomorrow, so there will be part 2. So comment any recommendations. If this help, like this video, subscribe, share it with your friends. I'll see you in the next video.